Hey, this is Nima, and this is Common Interests. We're doing a breakdown and analysis of the common print run for Amonkhet, which is a big set, nothing pretty goofy going on or anything that messes up anything going on. There's no double face cards, there's no bunch of artifacts or colorless Eldrazi's, so this is a pretty typical print run that's kind of like the one that was back in Magic Origins. That's the last time they had like a regular one. I just got this out of the way early. Magic the Gathering Online uses a different system than what is used for US packs. And in fact, also US packs use a different print run than non-US packs, which is kind of interesting. That wasn't there before. But it leads me to believe that maybe the print runs aren't as curated as they were before, and they're just kind of just haphazardly thrown in now. But there was definitely a couple patterns that are still around that are interesting to know, even if you aren't in the US, just what's labeled as a strong common by Wizards. So that's just interesting to know anyways. Just to get in the beginning, there's a booster pack, which has one rare slash mythic rare in the back. It's got 3 uncommons, and it's got 10 commons in there as well. And then the commons are also separated into 3 groups. The first is from Group A. You'll get 2 to 4 cards from there. In the center is Group B, which is usually 2, sometimes 3 or 4 cards from Group B in the center. And then the rest of the pack is filled out with either cards from Group C1 or from C2. And again, just like an uncommon doesn't show up on the rare sheet, a common that shows up in print run A doesn't show up in C1. There's one exception, which is the short printed card, which is called, it shows up on C1 and C2 as well. And in this set that is Binding Mummy, it shows up in a ratio of 5 to 6 compared to other commons. And let's just go on to an example pack over here. So at the start of the pack, you'll have cards that are white, blue, and red. And these are generally, I'd say weaker commons, but I should just say that they're not pushed, is what they really are. There are some commons that are pushed to be stronger than usual, and those will always show up in C1 and C2. Removal spells will always show up in C1 or C2, and the kind of filler stuff shows up in run A and in run B. So at the start, there's going to be some weak white, blue, and red, and then there'll be some weak black, green commons, and this fills out the requirement that every pack has at least one common of each color, which is not always accomplishable, but they did it in this set. And then it fills out and then runs C1, C2. This is where they put all the artifacts and lands that are common, and then it's got all the other colors in there as well. And it's about 50-50 whether you get a C1 pack or C2 pack. If you get 4 cards from run A in your pack, you'll get a C2 pack, and that's how it usually works. And here's just some example packs over here. For example, over here we have 4 cards from run A at the start. This red Gauntlet Minotaur, the white Supply Caravan, blue Essence Scatter, red Tormenting Voice, and then 2 cards in the center that are green and black, Shed Weakness and Unburden, and then filled out with the C2 cards. I think this is the Druid's Deliverance, and then this Cartouche Strength, a strong card, a Hyena Pack, and then Impeccable Timing, which is considered a strong card in this set, even though I think it wasn't considered a strong card in Kaladesh, but Wizards placed it as a strong card in this set. Going on to run A over. Oh yeah, and also foils tend to shift something out. So like I said, there's always 2 cards from run A in each pack at least, but if there's a foil, sometimes it pushes out a card from run A or pushes out a card from run B. I think over here you have an example. There's only 1 run B card because of the foil in the pack. It just pushes out one of the cards. Going to, yeah, run A over here. So this is 33 cards in total, 11 of each color, and then each card shows up twice in the print run. So you can kind of see, one really goofy thing is that you can get all 3 cartouches, or not all 3, but the red, white, and blue cartouche all together in your pack pretty easily, I think. I guess it's something like a 1 in 30 chance, actually. Yeah, about 1 in 30 chance to get these 3 cartouches in your pack together, which is funny. This also leads me to believe that it wasn't as curated as usual. The Wizards didn't really organize it as well. They just randomly had these 3 cartouches together. It must have been an accident. Who would do that on purpose? So these are mostly pretty weak. There's a couple goofy things like Forsake the Worldly always shows up with Desert Ceradon. So if you see a Forsake the Worldly in your pack, and you can assume that there's either a Desert Ceradon there or someone took it out of the pack. And I should say, okay, so there are a couple cards in here that I do like Essence Scatter, And Thresher Lizard is something I like, even though it might be even considered too slow now. And Fanbear is definitely very likable. But mostly these aren't cards that you're going to want to be first picking, except for maybe Fanbear. And so I don't want to spend too much time on it because it's not very useful. Run B, also not very useful because the only card in here that's very strong is Soul Stinger, which again isn't something you want first pick anyways. But there's 22 cards, 11 from each color, and then each card shows up 3 times in the print run. That's 66 cards, which unfortunately I couldn't map because usually every pack only has 2 cards from run B in there, and just getting pairs together doesn't really help you make a sequence. Yeah, so just going into run C1, which is where things get more interesting. So you'll get between 5 to 6 cards of run C1 in your booster pack, if it is a C1 pack. And then this contains strong red, white, and blue commons. So it seems that all the strong black and green commons were relegated to C2 print run. But what's going on over here? So I put the strong cards as Gustwalker and Binding Mummy. Aven Initiate, Shimmerskill Drake, Magma Spray, Electrify, and Emberhorn Minotaur. And it's actually kind of interesting to note that Slitherblade is in here as well. I didn't write it down as a strong card, but it turns out to be much stronger than people gave it credit for. So maybe Wizards of the Coast knew this and they put it in run C1 because they identified it as a strong card. It does definitely seem more pushed than we're usually seeing from blue 1-drops for sure. So in general, though, there isn't any particular pattern to this. It seems kind of like haphazardly thrown in together. One interesting thing I did find is that Cradle of the Accursed will show up with a red common, either Electrify or Nefcrop Entangler over here, and its other one over here will usually show up with Emberhorn Minotaur or this Electrify over here, since you can get 5 cards in the pack, or 6 cards in the pack. So Cradle of the Accursed will always show up with a red not always, but almost always shows up with a strong red common. So if you see that, and you don't see a strong red common, someone took it, so they have red. And the other way this works is also with Those Who Serve shows up next to Electrify over here, or Those Who Serve over here shows up with, where's the other one? It's at the start, so you have to kind of loop it back around. There's an Emberhorn Minotaur at the very end over here. So Those Who Serve would usually show up with Emberhorn Minotaur or Magma Spray. So if you see Cradle of the Cursed or Those Who Serve, pack started with a strong red common. Unfortunately, I couldn't find anything else super interesting about this print run. Going into C2 over here, so this is where they put the strong black, green, and white commons. For example, Compulsory Rest, Impeccable Timing, Unwavering Initiates, Blended Agony, Horror of the Broken Lands, Final Reward, Naga Vitalist, Cartouche Strength, Clear the Brawl. These are all pretty strong commons. And it actually does follow a pattern over here that it goes strong, weak, strong, weak, strong, weak in the print run. I don't have this, I'm not 100% certain on this print run, but I think there might be like one spot over here where it's incorrect, but it does follow this pattern, I definitely know for sure. Goes strong card, weak card, strong card, weak card, strong card, weak card, strong card, weak card. And also follows that in a color order as well. So we start with a strong green, beat, strong white, beat, black, beat, green, white, black, green, white, black. So that's kind of interesting to note that I'm trying to break this down exactly. Okay, so there's 4 cards from C2 in your pack. You see one missing. You see that the strong white card is left over. Then you know that a strong black card or strong white card was taken out. Unfortunately, we can't narrow it down any more than that unless you memorize the print run exactly. But that's something interesting to note. And yeah, we'll just wrap it up over here with, I've just got the hacks written out again. There's at least 1 common of each color. So if you just have a pack with no blue common in it, they took a blue common. That's easy to remember, but yeah, I mean, you probably noticed that anyways, right? C1 means that there are strong blue, red, or white. So if you see a bunch of C1 packs and you're in black, for example, and you feel like you're not getting past anything, it doesn't mean you're being cut. It just means that no one's opening black commons, unfortunately. But you might get rewarded in the next pack. C2 means that the pack starts with good white, black, and green commons. And then, again, that little hijink over there, Cradle of the Cursed, and Those Who Serve indicate that the pack started with strong red. So if you don't see a red common in there, we should maybe vary out of red, or maybe just force it anyways because red's so good. All right, yeah, thanks for watching.